This is a wall system that... Okay, this is in Mom and Dad's bedroom, which is a feature wall of just snaps of the past, starting with a picture of Mom and Dad's wedding with Uncle Ralph and Aunt Mary. We're going to go up to our family, which includes John, Don, Berta, and Charles. A photograph taken probably in 1951. Just zooming along to an old photograph of my mother's parents and her sister Lily and brother Walter. Waverly, I'm sorry. And then with just various pictures of our 4-H days, birthdays, school photographs, pictures around the yard of, for instance, the horses that we had. There you're getting into a range of where it's a field shot of us stacking hay. And if I can get Colin to zoom in on this picture of Mom and Dad with a white Samoyed called Blanco. There are 3 frames on this wall. We'll move along to the second frame momentarily. Colin spotted a picture of a family gathering. I don't know how close you'll get, but there's Uncle George, Aunt Ethel, Uncle Ralph, Aunt Mary, and all our family. There's a picture of Mom on the left, Dad on the right. The second set, we're starting with more modern pictures of our folks being grandparents. The lowest picture on the frame there is Aunt Lily and Uncle Walter when they did a nice trip out here to visit my folks. And they took a car trip into the old area of Outlook, Saskatchewan and McCrory. It was a trip that my aunt really treasured in her lifetime. Getting into a lot of Don and Michael's pictures with Peter and their mother Chris. I'm going to get soon into a picture of Indian Mountain Lodge, which is a lodge that Don owns out of Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. And then a picture of Mom and Dad in 1967. I see in the background a new Jaguar that they purchased down east and drove from Expo back to Edmonton. A picture of Art and Berta on their wedding day. Then over on the left, if Colin will set the camera on that, is a picture of my dad's family. Charles Briggs with all his brothers and sisters. Picture of John and Marg Briggs on their wedding day, cutting the cake. And then Colin Briggs, newly born, taken in front of the fireplace on the farm. This is the third in the series of photographs. This is mostly grandchildren. Tremendous number of school pictures. When we get to the top of this one, we're going to run into if you could zoom in, Colin, on a picture in front of a fireplace at our home in Sherwood Park and on the acreage. It has all the grandchildren, except for Colleen, I guess. Yes. Berta only had the 2 girls at that point. A lot of pictures here now of Don and his family, Peter and Michael. And I'm wondering if Colin has zoomed in on the 3 blondes yet. This is Dad and Mom's den, where they write checks. Collection of books, pictures that they treasure, a lot of collection of different items that they collected through the years. This is a picture that was a painting that was done in probably 1970, in that range, and you've seen it in a description of the yard of the farm. This is the opposite view from the house end down through the corrals and the buildings on each side. This is the Briggs crest. When are you ready, Colin? Colin's photographing the special cabinet that Mom has put a lot of bleak collection in. Mom, why did you collect your bleak?
Mostly, I guess, because there's 2 or 3 pieces in there that Mom's parents brought from Ireland. when it was added to from there.
And that was your first introduction to bleak, and you liked it?
Mm.
And so you added to it.
That's right.
Did you buy any in Ireland when you were on your trip?
Only the horse. There's a horse that we bought. That's the only thing we bought.
And where's the horse now?
I was just looking for it.
It's not bleak, it's Dresden.
Up here?
It's Irish Dresden.
This is a special piece that the folks bought in Ireland when they took a trip to Ireland. It's Irish Dresden. Okay, carry on as to what's on the wall system.
That long face, it was brought from Ireland too.
Okay, Colin's down here in this area.
Oh, he's down there.
And what is this?
That's
Irish Dresden also.
And what's it named?
The Grandma's wedding party. Grandma's party.
Okay. And then Colin's coming up to the vase from Ireland again now. Please explain it.
It's an old vase. No, not anything in particular, but a very nice piece.
And the pictures?
Are bleak, and there's a right and a left. Each one different, and the center one bleak by its own.
And then the picture collection is from?
We bought it at Collingwood, Ontario, pottery there, on our way back from Expo.
Okay. And the big item in the middle, Mom? The picture of the log cabin?
yeah, this is a long cabin, isn't it? Margaret gave me the
Pattern?
to do, and I did the work on it. Had a hard time with horses.
Now tell us about the shepherd.
Shepherd and shepherdess are from Ireland too. They came out with the folks when they came in 1889.
Okay. And the doll in the center is a gift from one of the ladies that helped you out. Who's it from?
Sylvia.
And
Isn't she beautiful?
the St. Patrick's Day.
Okay. The book collection is just collected over the years, some gifts from people,
Here, there, and everywhere.
special books. And then, Dad, would you speak? Colin's coming up to the
That's a
Arctic.
woodcut made by an artist in the Wilkie, Saskatchewan.
But he's moving up to the Eskimo art. Where'd you get that? Most of it?
I bought that up in Yellowknife, and the other are gifts. The muskox are from Chris and Donald, and the little seals are also from there. The dog is a gift from Elsa Norgard.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And then you're moving up to some ivory that was.
Ivory that Bird brought home from Africa. The others are gifts of owls, especially of Mary's.
And the vases on top.
Black amethyst with the silver overlay. This one's from Crete, this end. The other two are were bought at the sales.
Dad, will you explain where you got the goats
The
from?
goats are bronze goats. As far as we know, they're made about 1700 in France. That's the only history we have on them. The horses were given to Mary from her cousin Sheila Campbell. The horse was bought at a show on the left there. It was also a bronze piece. Worker actually is a carver. He's carving it out of the head. I bought it from a shop up in Yellowknife. And Donald brought it down. I made the tables that hold it because it was actually about a 60-pound piece of carved rock. And where we go next? A natural foliage pressed by our daughter-in-law Chris. And the other over there is a sunset by our other daughter-in-law, one other daughter-in-law, Margaret Briggs. The chairs are a cushion made by Mary, needlepoint. And put that. There are two dogs down here. You can't see them. You want those?
Bad dog.
Can you get the cat and dog? Was the Stafford pottery a dog and cat bought in a sale in Saskatchewan. Now, can we turn left and see the farmer pets? Samoyed dog at the top, Blanco, cross-collie dog, Zeke, second down, and
American Eskimo.
American Eskimo, what was his name?
Kobe.
Kobe, American Eskimo dog. Bottom of the quite an old needlepoint hanging. Anyway, the lamp is made of the wood part I made from aromatic cedar, and the end table, the same thing. And that was a gift from Long just the other night from Ben and Ann Trimble. This is the oil painting by Esther Freeman, taken at the farmhouse, Beckwith Farm. And the signs, and this is a painting, small of a team hauling logs. This is very unique. And now, let's stand back here and take a look at the Deacon's bench, which was made from an old buffet that came with the farm, and it was changed around completely into a Deacon's bench. And this is a large brass shoehorn brought from England by an old English friend and given to us. And the chairs. As far as I know, fruitwood chair with the marquetry in the legs. Some of the blue willow plates we bought, and some that came with the Mary's family from Saskatchewan. And that's I'm looking at the first needlepoint that Mary did when she started doing needlepoint. And it turned out she liked the eyes, and so the eyes are remarkable. And in the corner here, a corner cupboard, I made of birch. And the whole thing is birch, and everything on there is handmade except the 4 hinges. And the top, of course, are small pieces of blue willow, which I bought at different places. And the the window, 2 or 3 pieces there with owls, which Mary collects. And the stand there is actually to sit over your knees and raise up the middle piece to hold a book. It's actually a reading table. And the big easy chair here is a catch-all for everything, and a very comfortable armchair. The window, the door. The window of the door was a piece of Irish linen which Mary bought, I believe, in Dublin, Ireland. You know, the trip there. Top of the fridge has 2 blue willow pieces of a ginger jar and a blue willow tea pot. Mary's bookshelf, which I made, and it holds all her recipes and recipe box, which is very, very old. For ripping boards by hand, and then next is a crosscut saw, which came with the farm when I bought it. Next are 2 saws for cutting down trees, crosscut saws. And the next, looking down there, you'll see some junk, old hay, and a cowbell. And up in the corner is a leather satchel, which my mother used all through years for when she traveled around with the kids to put diaries and combs and brushes and everything else in. And then we have another cabinet which we use at the farm. And on top of the cabinet is a wooden lamp which John made out at the Salisbury High School in the workshop. You'll get it someday. And below that are all the odds and ends using for in the workshop. Now, starting on the big bench here, there are 2 planes which are used to plane down stone and for finishing on stone. Next is a small jeweler's lathe. Behind that is an old beaver lathe, quite old. And coming up, we have a big emery stone, which is run by a belt. And next to that is a rope maker making rope of binder twine. And next to that is and there is a shoe lash used for knitting soles on shoes. And then we have a saw for 45-degree cut saw. And in the corner you'll see the parts of a crib that's all the kids use, from John right down to Charles. It's there in storage for the future generations. And on the left here, I had a small water grindstone, and I wanted to put a motor on, so I got the speed work down by using an old bicycle wheel. And coming around to the front here, we have a very large old workbench, quite old, probably well over 100 years old, with 2 vices on and a tray down below to hold your few saws, and behind that where you lay other things tools you're using off the wood. And down here's a carpenter's box which you can put the necessary tools in today and carry them. And moving over to this other corner over here, lathe. This will work. It's all set up to go. That runs by foot, is that electric? Telephone for the whole lower floor. This is what covers it down here. On the floor here, of great interest is remains of the first TV we got, about 1954 possibly. Different things in. And sitting beyond down there is the an old butter box, butter 10-pound box, and sells that in the creamery. And it's on the turn back here is a to the right column. Back here is a bandsaw which has been used an awful lot. And behind that you can see the handle of a meat saw, plus many other things. And sweeping around here to the right column is the all the major tools I've acquired. No, not there yet. Here's all the major tools I got. I've acquired a few pieces at a time, and use them for everything from tin scissors, fretwork saws, tapes, whip saws, and picture framing things, hardback saws, and usually about 10 hammers in there, and all the bits and necessary things to use. This is going to be another footstool made of aromatic cedar. Get the corner here, which is a piece of wood, of course, and all the odds and ends for soldering, and a glue torch up top, and a coal head, of course, for help to sharpen up some of the chisels. And this is a large wood lathe, acquired for Donald when he was going to high school, and I've been using it off and on ever since. And you can do almost anything there if you find out how to do it. And there's the necessary chisels for using. And up here in the corner, if you look, you'll see among other things, a scale which has a pointer on it, actually called a milk scale for weighing milk as you milk for keeping check on the cow's milk, which was used over at my brother's farm and used for many things since. That's just about it there. Another carpenter's apron. I use it for everything, and to protect my clothes and protect myself when I'm gluing, wiping off the extra glue, that sort of thing. It's very useful. It'll never wear out. This is a tanned cowhide, steer hide from one of our Angus cattle. It was used on our floor for many years in front of the fireplace on the Beckwith farm, and it's still going to be used quite a bit. Starting in here, we have a metal egg scale where you're grading your own eggs while you place the egg in one end and read them off. Up top here we have for breaking candles at home, tallow candles. It makes 8 candles, I guess. And to the left there's a picture of the plowing match that a man took that was the year I won the championship for the plowing match down on Mincher Farm south of east of Ellerslie. The next is you can't see it, but I'll just lift it up. It's an old slate we're using at school. It was used. I use it. I may have broken it, I don't know, but they made these that size and quite a bit larger also. And this is a sleigh bell which we all use on our horses in the winter time. They hear them and they move and so on. And that is a school bell, the big one. And there next is an oddity. You pull it apart and it falls apart. You open the door and it comes apart. Here's a matchbox, mostly in the kitchens. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lamps. And some were used on my wife's home in Saskatchewan. Behind that is a small blue lantern, which we use outside in the barns down the house for light. And anytime dark, which is dark most of the winter, early in the evenings, they were used continually, hanging around your arm or hanging on the hook. And there's some dolls in the corner. There's a gallon jug, a stone jug. We use those for taking water out to the field in harvest time and around, and the water will stay cool in them in the hours and good water. While if you just take it home night for fresh water, the water's still good the next day. And there's a coffee maker there. You put your coffee beans on top, and a little door on the bottom, which you pulled out with the ground coffee. The stone jug next to the brown top is a you bought them full of pickles, and after that they're used for a lot of things. Wrong. Once you can put any pickles you make, you put in them, and then I'll get in there and just show you one or two little things. Tea caddy with the you thought the pound of tea always loose tea, and that kept very well in that. That's for making rag rugs. Back for it. That is an old power fat iron. But here is the old fat irons, which are warmed up on the top of your fire wood-fired cook stoves. And here's one. They have to, you always get 2 or 3 to keep going. And these were, you take them off, the handle off, and put on the hot one, and go ahead and iron. And back in the corner is another little coffee grinder. This is one I acquired when I was in Kenya. Actually, it's a baby's bottle. It's an aside people use for mixing up various mixtures in there for the babies. And these are gourds, and it's all handmade otherwise. And this is made of rats. It's bought up in Yellowknife and came as a gift. They're always muskrat hides put together in the form of for a showpiece. And that was another one made by the Inuit people who came from Baker Lake. And the large, tall lamp there is called a banquet lamp because you put in the middle of the table and it light. These are stone carvings bought up in the Yellowknife area. Some came from Baker Lake. Next is a unique piece. It's a corner post for a gold claim. It's about 4 feet high in order to get it home. And these are registered numbers for your gold claim. It's about 4 feet high, and you had one in each corner of your gold claim. And these are registered numbers at the assay office showing that you had claim to that portion of the land for getting that gold. And in the corner here we have a series of pictures and awards. This one here was given to me by a visitor the other night, and this is certified that R.W. Briggs has been to Yellowknife, the most modern frontier city in Canada, and has become a blood brother of Raymond the Raven. Ravens are very common up around there. They stay all winter and are very unique. And that is the picture of a man holding a bundle of dirt in his hands. And in some cases, many years ago in eastern Canada, when the father passed the son to his farm, he gave them a handful of dirt from the farm, and that was the transfer of ownership. And the others are awards which I acquired throughout the years. Farm and Home Improvement, Albert Lang Association, given us after we've been members for 25 years. And the others are my retirement service plaque from the county of Strathcona. And the others the Strathcona Pioneer Certificate, showing I've been here for a long time. The other Save the Soil campaign, which farming was entered in, and that was an award for there. And these are, this picture and one a little further along are painting pictures, which are copies of the originals in the Quebec Museum, and shows the early buffalo hunt, painted from memory. And next here we have 2 unique candlestick holders with open fretwork on them. And down here we have a solid brass knight in full armor, made in England. And next is a clock which was given to us from our Mary's uncle Colin Campbell when we were married. And this is a cranberry glass bowl, which is quite good. And next we have the very old bull front, the oak transfer, and this here might will show up. One of the cedar chests, for each of the grandsons, and there is Sean Briggs and Colin Briggs and myself with the open cedar chest, which they have in their possession now. That actually was a small single flower given to my mother on their as a present on their 50th wedding anniversary. No, on their 25th anniversary, actually. This is the 2 Korean dolls which were sent to us from Korea as a Christmas present one year. They are dolls of nobility, and since they haven't got nobility anymore, they very thought highly of in Korea. Now we'll go to this table, which I was able to acquire at an auction sale. It came to Alberta in Edmonton about 1900, made in Ontario, and rather unique, with the checkerboard in the middle, made of burled cedar, burled maple, and the rest is also maple. I can't think of the proper of antique tools which we have acquired, Donald and I, and Summer myself. Quick shot on that was showing the various ones are rather crowded, but except, and on this one here, in the lower corner is all the tools for making barrels, and the rest are saws, fretwork saw, a Swedish crosscut, adjustable Swedish crosscut saw, and that is unique. I made a skinning knife out of a skate blade, and it's wrapped with a handle made of home tanned leather, and it's been used for skinning many animals butchered for home consumption. And all these tools are practically making. And over here we have a unique plane and a blowtorch, which is used for soldering, and now they're out of date. But that, and this is a toothing saw, which is rather unique for scraping wood and leaving a rough edge on your wood. And that's various types of wooden. That's probably the smallest wooden plane that I have, is this one here. Small block plane, unique size. And this here is, until lately, they only had powder glue, and you put them in the pot to hot water in the pot and mixed up your glue in here. Made very good glue, but it didn't compare with the present day thing. This is a unique piece, a plane in which a plane blade there, and for shaving ice for putting in drinks, and which ran out of use when they got into ice cubes. But that was it. Very thin shavings come off, put them in your drink so you had a cold drink. That is rather. These were always used in grocery stores for opening boxes of wooden boxes containing fruit or other things. You put them in, pry it off, and if you wanted, why, they tap the nails back in and close it up. But you had to look at your fruit before you bought it. In butchering hogs at home, you put the hot water in a barrel and to take the hair off, and the carcass was held up later for drying and cleaning up, called a gam stick. And this went through the sinews of the hind quarters of the hog, and taking the hair off the hog when it was scalded. This is called a hog scraper. You could either use that, more common if you didn't have this one, you use a butcher knife, same one that you bled the hogs with. And down below here is a rather old piece. According to the tag on it, is one of the large clamps used for making York boats at the Hudson Bay in Edmonton for use across Canada. This is all the years back where everybody had bundles of feed bound by twine, and when you put them up to the cattle, you cut a mower knife, and you cut the twine, and so the animals didn't get that in their mouths. Have a frame, which is an adjustable frame for putting in wood, which you want to cut for picture frames. You put in the clamp in between, and this is a remarkable stone in there, which the saws don't mark, and you could cut a perfect corner for a picture frame, which is the only way to make it. And we finish that there. A beautiful cabinet made in a factory, made by hand, and for holding all your wooden lathes, chisels, and hand chisels, and closes and fastens up, so it makes a beautiful piece. I made the lower part to hold it, so it would be up out of the way. This is a small brass kettle called a berry kettle, very old, and used when you want to boil up things and hang them over a fireplace, a fire to heat up. We'll move on around here and do a quick shot of this side here. This is a various group of tools for marking gauges. This is one for opening up a barrel which had vinegar or anything else in. You drilled the hole and made the hole larger with this sharpened edge there and fit the size of the bung in, so you turn a tap on the bung and drain it out. And these are hand tools with for drilling various sizes of holes by hand. And that's a broad axe for trimming ties or whatever you want. The rest are adzes for a choosing by hand for smoothing off log floors. And this one is for carrying logs, moving and carrying them. And this is a double one for grabbing onto a log or a tie, and two men are carrying it. And it is the rest of the axe. That's a pickaxe. That's a double-bladed axe. And these are various mauls for using on tools. And that's for making the wooden threading on for wooden clamps. It makes a wooden thread on. And over here we have all tools, small awls and tools at the top, adjustable planes at next, and these are all the next phase of making wooden tools, while we put steel tops on them, and this is for drilling holes in timbers. You push over the timber, and various size holes could be drilled in with the extra power of two hands working it. And that's a rather unique old-fashioned brass-bound carpenter's box, which you carry tools to the job and use them. And here's a whole selection of wooden clamps, various sizes, which are very necessary when you're doing woodworking. And that's one large plane, very large, for trimming down a rough board. Two people using one with each hand handle working on. And down there we have all the levels for working with different things, one for leveling bricks and the others for leveling your walls or building or anything else you're leveling. And there's the steel planes up there, small ones up at the top, and down various sizes, to the ones that's 2 feet long or more, and the others are for putting narrow blades in, and then the next things that come along are rotor planes. And let's see, it's just about that. Here's a very unique plane which are used, very flexible, and you can use them. I saw people using them in Korea, just really working it down on one hand. And that's a press for pressing plants or gluing pieces put together between the two pieces of wood, putting a screw on top to tighten it up. This is a case for holding the bits for putting in hand braces, using the different size of holes that you need. And over here we have the smaller planes for making moldings. All these are molding planes, various sizes and patterns on that. And in here we have a hand-powered sewing machine, still usable as soon as you put the needle in it. And that is a whole group there of chisels, drills, and for cutting holes in wood. All these are all different sizes. There's really holes in logs and everything else. Now we'll move along one shot here. The sign they made for showing off some of the tools, the show we had last year. And up here we have another selection of tools, various sizes. This isn't a very unique piece. This is for cutting up cabbage in a wooden bowl for your coleslaw. A double, I used to have quite single ones, a double. And this is a little bit unique. It is a draw knife which has collapsible handles, so you put them in your toolbox when you get yourself cut, packing away and taking on the job to trim down pieces of wood. Here's one of the I'll show you. That's pretty well there. This piece here is very unique. I bought it in a crippled children's hospital in Korea. They have no polio vaccine in Korea to any extent, and these children were suffering from polio results. This boy probably carved it up by hand, and I don't think he hard to see a horse, but the man, he must go in that picture. Remarkable calling for a very young boy doing something to be useful and make use of his hands. Just about all that. That's a display case. It's a display board for various types of harness bells. The rump bells, the single bells, and that's a Russian harness called a troika, and that is a fancy small bell for hanging between the reins of the horses. And in here we have a various group of things. This is a solid brass cart horse made in England and used for the size of carts they used for many years. And that's a what they call a balloon chair with a needlepoint cover mixed in with a pair of my son John's work boots, which he doesn't use anymore. These are painted by a friend and sent to us as Christmas cards out in Vancouver, which did our painting. And this is a Chinese brass tooled out, pounded out to show the dragons on it and various things. Down here we have still one of the cedar boxes I made, and not picked up yet by one of my grandsons, Peter by name. These are some old flowers and things which were treated with glycerin, and after 20 years, they still are not, haven't dropped off. But they junk one of these days. And here we have a few pictures on display. This particular horse, he was born on the farm about 1927, on the 27th day of June, and he was worked and used until he was about 28 years old. And this is one of our teams, racks, myself and John Braddock thrashing. And this is a picture of the hay sweep I made, one operated 2 horses, and you picked up the swath of hay and took it over the stack. This is a picture of my 2 sisters, Isabel and Ada, and my brother George. They're making hay, and they're sitting on the hay rake. This is my brother Ralph with 8 horses on a rod weeder doing summer fallow. And they were hitched together by chain hitch and run by 2 lines. And over here we have a real family picture of myself and my brother George and 2 of the neighbors' kids, horseback, 2 Welsh ponies and 2 black drivers. And this is a picture of my brother George and Ralph hauling grain into the elevator in South Edmonton and in the winter time, just as they're loaded up and ready to go.
Yeah.
This is a picture of the old horse again. I didn't mention, this is John. He's about 4 years old myself. And we get to this one here, my brother Ralph at his farm, Highview Farm, driving 4 horses on the binder, binding a field of oats up. Here's where a load of logs which we cut on my brother's farm, and we hauled about 10 miles to a sawmill back about 1932. And that is a club stallion owned by the stallion club, and he was all washed up and prepared for show, and I let him out, showed him, and that was the end of the wash-up job. This is one of our first coaster days from a miniature Clydesdale mare called Bess. And that is pretty well that. By a coaching scene given to us by John Margaret one Christmas Day after to dress up our rubbish room down here. And the painting behind over there, take that one for sure. That's with a wagon box. An artist came out one afternoon and painted the wagon sitting in the yard. And the small picture in the corner is after it was redone and refinished by John and myself and another man. It shows what job it is. Now sitting down in my sister Berta's house near Pataskla.
I've seen one like it, have you? Have you seen one like that?
No.